The Fatui Harbingers are an interesting bunch. They are some of the strongest individuals in Teyvat, and they are the strongest group in Teyvat. Among them, you can find battle prodigies, rich bankers, high-ranking government officials, and even some powerful enough to rival the gods, and yet they are all led by seemingly one ordinary man, Pierro, also known as the Jester. Pierro is a survivor of Khaenriah, but what is he hiding? What is he hiding? Because his story is a confounding one. Like we stated earlier, Pierro is from Khaenriah. He witnessed the gods descend unto his homeland and blast it straight from existence. Now, naturally, to the other Khaenrians, they grew to hate the gods, especially members of the Seven.
It has nothing to do with wolves. It's because Boreas was an ancient god, yet he willingly became a servant of the Seven. I cannot possibly agree with his actions. I don't desire any interaction with him.
I apologize for my earlier hostility, but you must understand, as far as I'm concerned, humans who do not worship the Seven are nigh extinct. And all who place faith in the gods are my enemies.
And while Pierro himself has stated he's doing this to overthrow the gods, he seemingly made an exception for the Tsaritsa, who he's not only working for, but glazes off every chance he gets.
In the name of Her Majesty the Tsaritsa, such is the gift from the Tsaritsa, such is Her Majesty's benevolence.
However, that's not the only thing I find confusing about this little superstar, we'll call him that. Because one thing I've always been baffled about is how he can excuse the Fatui's, how can I say, less than good acts? That's a nice way to put it. In response to Celestia's, how do I say, less than good acts. Because you see, Pierro has an interesting quote about the heavenly principles that reads as such, quote, "Each one of us has borne witness to the absurd callousness of the foundational principles of this world." The hypocrisy in this quote is laughable. No wonder you call yourself the Jester, you fucking clown. Imagine lamenting the heavenly principles for being callous, while you, in all your power, order terrorist attacks on other nations for no purpose other than, we're gonna butter them up for later. Your nation got nuked for a reason, you failure. Meanwhile, this just goofy little child snatcher is just running around doing exactly that, snatching children for experiments. And you have the audacity to call out the heavenly principles for that. What's the old saying? You live long enough to become a villain, you become what you hate, a villain, a hero. Oh, I fucked up. But how did it end up like this, and what exactly is Pierro's story? All we know about Pierro and Khaenriah was that he was once a royal mage who lived with the traveler sibling for a time. Later on, King Ermin approved the use of forbidden knowledge to enhance Khaenriah's machines. Pierro urged him not to, fearing the repercussions from the heavenly principles. But Ermin fancied the sages over Pierro, with Pierro writing, quote, "Since my level of learning could not compare with the sages, I failed to earn the favor of the previous ruler. So too did I fail to stop them from tearing away the veil of sin, ushering in a tide of divine wrath, destruction, and foolishness." Following the destruction of Khaenriah, he would remark, quote, "Then I shall become instead a fool, a fatus, and devote myself to Her Majesty, who understands my pain." However, how long after the cataclysm he decided to serve the Cryo Archon is unknown. Was it like the same day he decided to sign up, or maybe a week, a month, a year? Who knows? No one knows. After becoming the first member of the Fatui, Pierro would transform into the greatest NCAA recruiter the world has ever seen, and managed to pick up top-tier free agents like La Senora, dottore, and Scaramouche. He was... gotta catch them all. As the first Fatui Harbinger, he has become the leader of the Harbingers and is rarely seen. Pierro directs the other Harbingers on what to do as opposed to doing them himself. For instance, he was the one who ordered dottore to infiltrate the Mikage furnace, thus causing the Tatarsuna incidents. Pierro also sent Scaramouche on numerous trips to the Abyss and sent him to investigate the meteor showers that hit Teyvat a while back. Most recently, during Inazuma, Pierro told a nigga named Nathan to infiltrate the Watatsumi military force and simply raise hell. Nathan convinced others to break wards around the island, claiming it was good for Orobashi or some I don't know, they're dumb. They're all dumb religious fanatics. Anyway, once all the wards were broken, a curse enveloped the island, making everyone sick and prolonging the war. Eventually, Nathan would be caught, but Pierro was not coming back for this NPC. This is the last known thing Pierro has indirectly been involved with, so obviously, there's a lot we don't know about him yet, especially in relation to his relationship with the Cryo Archon, like how he came into contact with the Cryo Archon, how they empathize with one another, or more importantly, what their ultimate goal is. Well, you know, yes, they obviously want to overthrow the gods. Ultimately, this is a superficial one that doesn't really answer what happens next. What are you gonna establish a new world order? Dottore is the lead doctor for this new world order, and he's just snatched. Get the fuck out of here, you sad bunch of... How Pierro came to work for this Tsaritsa is especially interesting to me, given she's one of the seven. And according to every other Khaenriah, the seven destroyed Khaenriah, which means she surely must have helped. I mean, it's not like she wasn't summoned. Rukkhadevata told us she was the only member of the seven not did the Cryo Archon just show up and go, huh? Well, this is unfortunate, and just like put her hands on her hips and just decide not to do anything. And while hell literally rained from the red sky, Pierro scanned his environment, saw one pale god not doing anything, turned and pointed at her and said, "I like you." The rest of y'all I don't really fuck with, but she not killing my people as we speak. We also know this is the same Cryo Archon from before the Cataclysm, so assuming there's no like twin stuff or puppet stuff going on here, like what happened? She just watches everyone is going DEFCON 1 on Khaenriah? Or does Pierro simply not care and is the most progressive man on the planet, willing to set aside his prejudice for the gods and work towards a greater goal to take down the heavens? Take your pick. Most interestingly, Pierro says the Tsaritsa understands his pain, which is why he serves her, and I'm not sure what this means. I mean, he had his homeland wiped out, probably lost some family, and has a curse on him. I wonder which of these the god of love has experienced, but moving on. Despite his hatred for Celestia, one thing I found hilarious was in the Lazo trailer, he says this.
The sages think themselves to be all-knowing, but we alone are wise to the virtue in those acts of folly.
We alone are wise to the virtue in those acts of folly. It's funny when you realize he's essentially speaking of the sages' arrogance for believing they are all-knowing, which in essence is how the heavenly principles view humanity. It's just funny, the parallels. It's just funny. It's funny. One final point I wanted to bring up regarding Pierro was his, I don't know, person, being, like, what is he is what I'm trying to say. Good God. We know he was once a mage, which means he was no ordinary human, but being a mage also doesn't guarantee omnipotence. All the other Fatui members seem to greatly respect Pierro, as in the first trailer, when they were trolling one another, trolling is an interesting word to describe it, they stopped the moment Pierro said stop. I think it'd be cool if Pierro fulfilled the role of an all-powerful old man, but I doubt they'll go that route. As a mage, he does, however, probably wield the same power Dainsleif currently uses, as this seems to be native to Khaenriah. However, it may be the power from beyond, going based on the chapter preview. I mean, it's not abyssal power, it's not the right color. In any case, I'm sure we'll learn more about Pierro eventually. I swear I end so many of these videos with, well, we'll learn more eventually. We gotta do better, Hoya. We got too many unanswered questions. Way too many unanswered questions.